Going live, it says.
And
There we go. And I guess now we're live, apparently.
you all
Hi,
missed the
guys.
best joke, didn't they, Stuart?
Oh, they did.
Um,
They did indeed. Never to be retold.
ah, yes. Hi.
And actually, ironically, I'm wearing this too. So.
Oh. Although
Uh,
since they don't know, is it
no,
ironic?
they'll never know. They'll never know.
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Not too bad. Been doing some
Problem is,
R&D today with
yeah.
things.
Well, the problem is, I'm good. Everything in here is good, but we got a problem outside. So we need to go EVA today.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, we're gonna need. It's really hot and gross and humid out there. So we need a suit of some sort today.
But,
See?
but I think we're prepared. I think we've we know its eventuality.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty
I think we're
confident.
good. I think we're good.
Okay. What a
Anyway,
joke.
welcome back, guys. Right? I know. Yeah, so today we're talking about spacesuits or EVA, extravehicular activities suits, if you will. And we're ranking them
Yeah.
as we tend to do.
Now this was a funny old one because one of our moderators said there's only 7 if you include a Klingon one, which obviously we're not going to include. False start. But I was like, no, there's gonna. Well, I had the 90 I'd already prepped, so I just had to find them. But you've got to go slightly outside of the box a little bit for this one, but I don't think in a grand way because all of these items are suits that can go into space. Be it thruster versions or none. They can be in space. It's the only criteria. I think they're all totally applicable, even if they have slightly different functions.
Yes.
They're still
Yes.
spacesuits.
I do want to say that we missed one out, and it's my honorable mention, and that's the life support belt from the animated series, because it's a white belt with a force field. That's future. That's awesome. Just saying.
My caveat to that would be that's a belt, not a suit.
But it creates a force field suit that can go into space, so it is an EVA suit, sort of, if you will. Just saying. Just saying. So if anybody's going to complain about that, I'm putting it out there right now. It's my honorable mention. We don't have a picture of it, I guess, but that's okay.
We're good apart from that. It's all good. That's all good. But yeah, so I'll start showing. Get into that. We talk about it. So I'll be see you in a minute.
Okay, you do that. And while he does that, looks like we have a super chat already from Sean, which is great. So it just says hello with the $5. That's great. It's a great way to support the channel and show that you love us and you want us to keep doing these because we really appreciate that. So thank you so much, Sean. If you guys want to super chat, feel free. We do read them all on the air. As a lot of channels actually don't. So we do pride ourselves on that. And if you just want to take part in the regular chat as well, that is also cool. Just hitting that like button is a great way to help. 29 likes right now. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit it. We'd really appreciate that. It's a great way to help for free. So, or you can also join the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, first of all. Make sure the subscribe button isn't red. Because if it is red, it's a red alert. It means you have to hit it to deactivate that red alert. So just saying. There's a join button beside that as well. If you want to hit that, that helps us on a monthly basis, just a little bit a month. Actually makes a huge deal. Those channel memberships are a big deal for the channel as far as analytics and stuff go, and just for monthly support. So we really appreciate that as well. You can also head over to Trekyards/Patreon for a monthly pledge there. Again, it shows that you love us because you all do, and you know you do. So go support. Also down below, there's the T Public store and the T Spring store. Both have very unique and cool stuff, Trekyards related merchandise. So if you want to check that out, it makes a huge difference as well. And the T Public sale is now off. They had a 35% off sale, and a lot of you did buy things. So we really thank you for that. And they will be doing another one. They do they do them quite often for 35% off, which is a great deal actually. So if you can, go check those out, check out what you want, and if you want to bookmark it or save it or something until the next time when there is a sale, by all means consider doing that as well. Let's see, you can also PayPal. PayPal is another great way for us to get some support from you guys. Just send it to trekyards@hotmail.com. The information for all that is in the link, or links are in the description of every video, so you can send us PayPal as well. Just let us know that you did in the regular chat, and we will read your comment or question via the email for that. So lots of great ways to support us, and there you go. And Samuel's back. He did it very quickly today, so I was still in the middle of my spiel, but that's okay, because I'm done now.
Yes, excellent. So how was this list to generate then? They all vary.
This one was kind of willy-nilly, just kind of picking, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go revisit it. So I Cassie came and visited, so I hung out with her for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then I came back down, looked at the list, and went, nope, I'm satisfied with the way I've got it. So my initial impressions were good enough to maintain that. So yeah, it's there's interesting ones here for sure. So I'm excited to see how you rank them.
So what was her number one? I'm sure you asked.
I did not ask her.
Oh,
no.
that's true. We'll go on the phone then. Send her a pic on Facebook and say, "What's your favourite, oh daughter of mine?" She's like, "Shut up, Dad." Like, okay, that's the answer.
Pretty much. No, she would pick one too. I think I know which one she'd pick, probably.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, so for me, this one, I think, as with a lot of these, you sort of instantly know your top 1, 2, or 3.
Mm-hmm.
You might know ones you don't like, but I always find it interesting to start at the top and go down, because then you are, by very definition, narrowing it down as you go. And so when you wouldn't necessarily, if you're ordering it, what's your favourite? Other way around, or start in the middle, you wouldn't necessarily order it. But by going purely in, well, that one's worse than that one, you're like, oh, that's my list then. Because it's like heart of hearts, and if that was better than that one, it has to be better than that one. So I was kind of surprised by my own bottom 5. Because I was surprised by it. But I'm glad I found 11. At least we had a full plethora and then one honorable mention.
12 with the life support belt. Just saying.
What about you guys? Do you have question then to the chat. Are there anybody out there that, if you said favorite spacesuit, would you be like, have a distinct favorite, or is it more of a take it or leave it? Because I overall quite like the spacesuit designs in Trek. I think they're for the most part consistent, at least semi. Like, you see a certain logical progression. Like the
until you don't.
Until you don't. Sure.
Until they try to shoehorn things in.
Sure. Yeah. Obviously, I meant more in production order.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whereas, which is the same thing for the Alien films and Prometheus, and they all you can kind of pick out the ones. They're all kind of consistent. So certainly ones that you can sort of tell, and while some of them are more abstract than others, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I see the visual language, even if it's subtle in between, as people do odd things. There's definitely a few bits there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the problem. There's reasons certain ones are certain places on my list. It's just because I'm thinking timeline and prime. So I'll have to explain that when we get there, obviously. But that was quite interesting to see that. Yeah, and production wise, absolutely, you can definitely see the grade on that. So, but as fitting it into the timeline, it's just kind of really. Do you think that one works? But we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, we got some super chats. Sean, $5. Hello.
Hi.
Here, the video just started.
Oh,
Are you so daft that you can't figure out that you haven't watched a video yet?
Lost you there, Stuart. Sorry,
really?
That's the first bit. Yeah, it's all right.
Well, they can read it themselves. I read the whole thing. Sean, $5. They're just talking about the haters, the dislike. Now that I have the TOS one on STO, I love it a lot. Yeah. Speaking of, we got a massive thunderstorm rolling in. So again, if anything happens with the power or whatever, I might have to call you back on my phone. So just saying.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Yes. So thank you, Scott, Sean, for all the super chats. Greatly
Thank
appreciated.
you.
Guys, we have 50 people here,
Mhm.
36 likes. I think we can get up to 50 likes. Hit
Mhm.
that like button if you haven't.
As
Very
always, we
important.
do. Our tank is run on super chat, so throw in what you think. But shall we jump right in then? Who wants to start? I think you should start this time. I think I tend to start. So
Okay. All right. Well, we'll start with number 10, obviously,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
and that's the 2380 spacesuit from Lower Decks, which is very much just it's an adaptation of the first Contact one. Like it's a progression from that, but animated. So it looks kind of, there's not a lot of detail to it, but you get what they're trying to do with it, and it's just kind of all right, you know. So that's it. There's not really too much to say about it, honestly. But yeah, there we go. Lower Decks. Great way to start out with nothing much to say. My apologies.
I was certainly pleased to when I remembered this one. I was like, oh yes, I get to throw this one in, because that exists. That counts. Absolutely counts.
James McGill, $2.
Hey.
You guys are in suits. Reenact Spock melding with V'ger. There you go. That's good stuff.
That was worth the price of admission at the very least, wasn't it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. And obviously, unlike other ones, we know that we're gonna have the exact same 12, 10 probably. It's kind of hard for us to sub-talk. But yeah, this one's.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think you might have the one I didn't put on the list. I think might be on your list. So.
Okay. No, yeah. I mean, this one it's interesting because how we remember it when we first saw it is different to how we're talking about it now. Because when we first saw it, we were both very pleased because it fits, it works, it's nice. But in the context of versus the other spacesuits, you're like, okay, bottom of the list. And since there's only 11, it is as bottom as you can get, pretty much. But if it did look more different, that'd be weird. It comes under the same vein as the phase and the tricorder. Just a thoroughly less detailed version of TNG with sort of overblown elements.
And purple stripes in some cases, if you're talking tricorders. So.
Yes. That stripe is important.
Sean, though, throws in another $5. Spock has some brass balls to go in that suit and meld with V'ger. Yes, indeed he does. That was quite a thing to do. Who did it better? Leonard Nimoy or me? Sorry, you don't have to answer. I don't want to embarrass Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, I mean, is there ever a question, really? It's always Stuart Foley, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, you were captain before him. Unless you consider actual age. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Let's be honest.
That's okay.
It would be nice if it was a bit more detailed, as with all the things, and it's hard to say, oh, it's just a cartoon. So many of their elements are over detailed for conceptually what the thing is. So could have a bit more detail. But feels like a nice functional part of the world. Yeah.
All right. So what's your number 10 though?
My number 10, making sure. Yeah, my number 10 is the Star Trek 6 tactical spacesuit. Now, my rationale for this is I like it. I actually like it quite a bit. But, and especially as I had all the different costumes side by side, it's just almost the exact same as the engineering suit with a helmet on. So it's not really a spacesuit as much as they just shoved a couple of pieces onto an existing thing. And even while watching the film, I never got the sense it was specifically a spacesuit. More just they put a helmet and boots and gloves on an existing suit. So it doesn't feel like a specialist suit. And so purely on that realms of it's just another suit with a helmet on. It is just a vibe for me. And so I like the design just fine. It's just another costume with accessories on, whereas everything else is specially custom, and I feel them very specially custom. So for me, while I like it, no, it's just another suit with some bells and whistles.
Okay. Well, I kind of agree with you, sort of. I come to think of it, I never really got the sense it was a spacesuit either. But I do really like this one. Um,
It's
there
tricky.
are other ones. Yeah, there are other ones that seem less spacesuity to me for various reasons, which I'll get into when
Mm.
I get to them.
Hmm.
This one has a nice bulk, consistent bulk, and it looks good. It's one of the movie era things, and I think the movie era really speaks to me personally because I do like the Monster Maroons and just kind of the era that I really really like. Besides TOS, obviously, but um, yeah. So we'll see where this one is on my list, but I see what you mean by that. Because it just looks like one of the regular engineering suits with
Because it
some
is,
extra things. Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's not a bad thing. It's just it's hard to give it extra bonus points. Um,
Mm.
but even if it was like a spacesuit variant, I think it's more of a 0G variant. It's a stay around the ship, go through the ship, fix the ship, go on the hull. No big mission, no big whatever. It's just
I would buy that.
kind of because it feels like an evolution of NASA design with how white it is and that sort of organic feel, as in fabric feel. Kind
Mhm.
of gives me that vibes, which I kind of like. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot about this one I like, but we'll talk about that when I
But I
get to it on
don't
my
think it
list.
screams Star Trek in any way, unless you know the design of the space of the other suit. Nothing here screams Star Trek. Maybe the internal circle, but that's really pushing it.
Well, you
And the
got the
delta on the
delta
yeah, but
on the arm, which is a great place to put it. I mean, it looks good there, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah. So it's more just technicality. Not that I don't like it. I don't think none of these I don't like.
Yeah, none of them I hate
Yeah, which
at
is
all. Like
good
they're just
considering
yeah,
there's several Discovery ones here. Just putting that out there.
yes.
But yeah, I mean, just the scene of this, you're never gonna forget the boots and the gun and the helmet. Like the way it's shot is so iconic. And yet, yeah.
And this image you have here is absolutely fantastic. Like I'd never seen it presented like this before. So when I
Mm.
saw this in the list, I'm like, I got to think about this. So yeah,
Fact files, man. Good stuff.
yeah.
Sweet.
Sean puts in another
Of course it
$5.
does.
That's great. I love the Star Trek 6 suit. Looks tactical. Yes, I think that's the point.
Mm,
Even with the tactical phaser.
I don't think it looks tactical. I think it looks civilian.
What if it was black and silver?
Well, put it this way: if the so you've got the under fabricy bits. If everything that isn't fabric had a real like metal armor feel, kind of like the security uniforms, then I
Mhm.
could buy it as tactical. But everything, and those ribs are just fabric because you've seen other
Yeah.
uniforms, so it isn't. Small thing, small thing. But you're number 9, Stuart. What comes in is not
Okay.
quite bottom of the list.
Not quite bottom of. Oh,
Yes.
hold on here. There we go. So yeah, my number 9 is whatever this thing is. This is the 2257 spacesuit, and I guess this is just the standard away mission type dealie that the Discovery people wear.
I don't sense enthusiasm from you about it.
No. See, the problem is with the Discovery ones, they're too form fitting. Like they're like leggings. Like, how are you going to keep your legs warm? And that's the issue I have. Like you said, the other one just looked like a regular uniform or a regular whatever. But I said it had a consistent bulk to it. It feels like a suit. These don't. They feel like a chest piece with a helmet, and
And gloves.
then just a bodysuit. Like, how are you gonna circulate warmth and whatever over the course over your whole body? Future, I get it, but it that really bugs me about these. And unfortunately, it is cool. I do like the chest piece. I like the helmet design. I do like the sidearm holder with the wrap around the leg. I think that's cool.
I'm not surprised you like that.
I know, right? I might have actually have something similar. Anyway, but it just looks like, honestly, like a bodysuit with a regular pair of boots. It doesn't feel like a spacesuit to me. And I get what they're going for. It's the future. You need to, like, production-wise, this is like the last one so far. So they've moved, to the more sleeker, more modern look kind of thing. But it doesn't fit the time period for sure.
Yes,
and
where's
that's
your
one of the big
beehive?
issues.
Where's your bee helmet?
Yeah, that's beekeeper's helmet. Yeah, so that's one of the big issues I have with it, and why it's number 9 on my list here. So
Although Shannon has a good counterpoint, which we'll get into later, I'm sure. But it says if you need extra bulk, you probably use the larger suit from the pilot episode. I think.
well, we're getting to that as well,
But I just
and
want
that's more of a thruster suit type deal. That's all it does. So
because this one actually, and I do appreciate the other one got abandoned very early on in its lifespan. This one took over very quickly. Is this? Does this one have the holographic helmet that forms around them?
yes,
Because I think isn't there a scene where they turn it on and off?
yep, they do this, and it.
Which is embarrassing by itself, but
Yes, it's super embarrassing.
but yeah, I mean this. Yeah, I had not. I like that you point out it does now. This also is a lady fit. This is Burnham's one, so obviously it's fitted more for a woman. Hence, you've got more of those lines that don't scream spacesuit in the way the other one did. That's just, and in fact, the other suit it could be the man or woman and just be one size fits all. You wouldn't associate that spacesuit being form fitted. You know, what's your waist, officer? Shut up. Doesn't matter. It's a spacesuit. Go away. But this one, yeah, I mean, this one is the Expanse. Maybe, I don't know, those sorts of dark silvers. It's, yeah, why such a legging looking material? I mean, it feels as if it feels as if it's sleek materials, but also feels as if it's real world materials that have been painted and printed to look sci-fi. So they just feel like they are just legging materials with a very clever print to get away with feeling like some sort of special, but they're not, they're just comfy leggings, etc.
Yep, exactly. It actually impresses me with all the different franchises like Lost in Space and like shows like, different space shows that are coming out now. Like there's so much, every time there's a new spacesuit, I'm like, how do they keep coming up with new looking designs based on the same kind of it's
criteria.
Essentially the same pieces.
Yep.
But just and they always blow me away with it. I think it's great. Like the Lost in Space ones are fantastic. But anyway, we're not talking about those today. So
well, it also shows you which ones are the cream of the crop. I think very quickly stand out and don't stand out. And Discovery is slightly more in the generic design. I mean, this is nice, but it doesn't scream Star Trek in any way. I don't know how you would change it to Star Trek, and certainly a lot of these other ones don't either. But this one just feels
funny. It's funny you say that because Matt put in $5 and says, "What would Sam do to the last suit to make it feel more Star Trek?"
Good question.
Put a big delta on the chest, right in that hole.
And on the shoes. Could I have it on the shoes? No, I think that's a good question. I think for me, I would have some red pinstriping details, especially as that would connect to the Wrath of Khan era. The fact that it's all this white, so I'd probably add some red, maybe the edge of the chest piece. So I'd add a red line around it, some pinstriping, maybe a Starfleet command logo in the middle, maybe like a patch for a division, or like is it engineering suit, is it a whatever, a specialist whatever. I would include I can't tell really from here, but I would probably include on the belt to convert one of those, whatever they are, into kind of the same looking thing that Spock activates the thruster pad with, the multicolored, like a multicolored like pad thing that you can touch. Give us those TOS bright primary color pad buttons, which are linked to TOS. The helmet wouldn't do much with, it's a fine design. I just honestly pinstriping a logo for more of a division, possibly a delta that's more visible. It's a bit more pronounced, but that's just this image. Wouldn't take much, just a few little isms.
Yeah. Right. So what's your number 9 now?
Ooh, let's find out. Well, and I had to double check this when I was going through it. It's the 2271. It looks to me like it's a reuse of the 2001 spacesuit. That's what I say it looks like. But actually, it's the spacesuit used in TMP when not the thruster suit. But you barely see it, but it is a thing. But to me, it just looks like the 2001 suit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Generic spacesuit, and only diminished by than the other one, which is not even a spacesuit in the same way. Like, it just looks so plain. Looks its age. Well, it's interesting as a gun holster, though.
It does. I do like the gun holster, but it also feels like it comes after the ones we see in TOS with the helmet design. It's
Which it
doesn't
does
have
in the movie.
exactly.
Oh, okay. So I was
So
thought.
it fits perfectly
Okay. I thought it was
in the
negative. Okay.
in the prime timeline where you got the TOS suit
Hmm.
and you got this one. You can tell by the helmet and just the fact that the whole helmet doesn't turn like they do in the new ones. It's like your head turns in there. You got your peripheral vision's not great. It's got that lineage that I think works, at least for the helmet. But other than that, yeah, it's very standard, like NASA kind of thing. But it definitely feels like a spacesuit. And I think as a progression from TOS to the movie era, I think this is great, actually.
And since that was the direct context they had to fly against, yeah, I can see that. But for me, it has no character at all. It feels very practical. Very practical.
Hmm.
It has a good amount of bulk, good amount of organics, as in the cloth elements to move. Super practical, but it's so forgettable. There's nothing about it. The only thing that says to me is interesting is the fact it's got like a looks as if the Star Trek 3 to Krug. It's like that thing's attacking its throat. That's the only thing that I look at and say, oh, that's something interesting. But you know what I mean? It's just unmemorable in every way to the point that most people would forget it
Yeah.
exists.
And it definitely doesn't say Starfleet. It doesn't even have a delta on the arm of these, like the last one that we're talking about. It needs they all need a delta on the chest at least.
And
And I think that's one thing that
yeah,
Discovery does well. Discovery puts the delta where it's
yeah,
supposed to be.
yeah.
This one is lacking that.
And I think this one would also benefit from a more than one paint scheme. I
Yes,
get
absolutely.
TMP is incredibly limited in their colors, but this without physically changing the design, if you get a really nice paint scheme that feels Rathakani era, I think that would help it a lot because the character would be from its artistic vibe. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't. Well, I mean, and someone could Photoshop them right now if they wanted to, but it just blends in into the scenery a bit. But it's not bad. Just
yeah. Okay, so my number eight.
mm.
We're cruising along pretty good here, so that's good.
Hmm.
Speaking of cruising along, my number eight is the 2256 spacesuit. This is the one from the
uh,
pilot of Discovery. Again, okay, I like this design. I love the upper thruster pack idea. It looks fantastic. This is something post Nemesis for sure.
but
Following right
Stuart,
after the Nemesis
Discovery is
style
not post
space.
Nemesis. What are you talking about?
All the art design is. I'll tell you
Oh,
that for sure.
oh.
Anyway, the issue I have with this, I love the thruster pack idea. I love the bulk up there. I love the delta on the chest. It looks fantastic. But again, you got leggings. Looks like she's wearing like long underwear with no protection as far as keeping the legs warm. The boots look okay, but if they had bulked out, if it had been
Mm,
more consistent,
mm,
like a thicker,
mm,
bulkier material for the legs, it would be fantastic and be much higher on my list. But the arms and the legs, I get you need mobility. I understand why they did it, but you're telling me this is pre-TOS,
by a
and I
substantial amount
say
of time because it's on the Shinjo, and Shinjo is not new tech, and that was already
exactly,
like 5 years earlier.
exactly.
So this is like 10 plus years, 15 plus years.
Even if this had the bulk of the ones from Enterprise
Mm.
in the entire body, it would have been much higher on my list. But you're telling me that this no, I'm sorry. Again, this is a prime timeline issue, not a design issue. I really love the way this thing looks. I love the holographic display, but again, this is all post Nemesis type stuff.
Hey, if this was in Picard, you'd be like, okay.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I wouldn't
Absolutely.
do this design, but yeah, like okay, sure. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And again, I never considered the leggings, but yeah, now you say that, it does feel super disproportionate. But the thing
Yep.
is, it's not a spacesuit. Now you've said that, what it really is just it's an undersuit, spacesuit, and she's thruster pack. She's just
Hmm.
clipped into a thruster pack, but it's all of her back and front and shoulders, which is not how that would be. So it's an under jacket with something on top. So it doesn't feel integrated at all. And it's sad because when we first saw this, I think we first saw this even before we knew what era it was in, and
Yeah.
we said it was a fun, post. We thought we thought it could maybe a lost era, as in just about an evolution from the Spock suit. It's like okay, yeah, um, or calling back to that a little bit, but Yeah.
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 Yeah, so that's one of the reasons it's number 8. I mean, I do like the Discovery designs. I really do. They do not fit where they fit in the timeline. Sorry.
They're
That's
just
just,
trying to piss
it's simple.
people off.
Yep.
Like, why would you
Yep.
design this for that era? It's just poor design work.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do a job of designing for the era, which they weren't. So.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
Does this fit in the timeline between the TOS ones and the motion picture ones? I mean, the TOS ones come after this, apparently. So, NX, the NX era, up to this. Anyway, that being said, the TOS ones really don't follow from the NX ones very much as well. But that's a good 100 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, exactly, yeah.
Different designers take over and say, you know what, we don't want anything of the past.
And this is 10 years before the TOS ones. So,
is it though?
put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I will. I don't want to. I refuse.
Okay.
I refuse.
Yeah, absolutely not. Definitely not a combat suit. Well, no. This one reminds me of Centurions. But compare this in Enterprise. Like I said, if it maintained the bulk of the Enterprise suits in the legging area.
But even Enterprise, it just feels too sleek.
Well, but design-wise, from the Enterprise design to this, and 88 years or whatever it was. Okay, sure.
That's because the Enterprise design is also so different. It's also just totally different as well. It's a totally different aesthetic.
It's Kelvinverse.
Well,
the NX era.
Whichever. That's radical.
Yeah.
My number 8 though is the 2380. That's the lower decks one. That got 8. That's 2 more. This one, as I clarified, my least was once barely a spacesuit. Then the one that is a generic spacesuit. This is better than those two because at least it fits. You see exactly the thought process. It's not overbearing. It's not underbearing, and it works well. I just wish I had more details, a little bit. But it ticks all the bells, ticks all the boxes. I'm excited to see what they do next season because hopefully they'll increase the rendering detail a little bit for everything.
Yeah, and you can see the design influences from First Contact. So, yeah.
But also, it doesn't feel advanced. And I say that it's sleeker, so it feels more advanced feels more like a production basic model. Like this is the hand them out to, everyone, and then you have the professionals, the really top tier guys get the better one that's like all the bells and whistles. This is the low end, simple. And the other one is the Belgian chocolate with the extra cocoa and the, So it works, cut down version.
Well, Eric Martin throws in $2 and says, "Don't forget about the Red Angel suit."
It's not a spacesuit. It's
not Starfleet either. It's civilian design, but whatever.
Well, it's a Section 31 time suit that happens when traveling to space.
Was her mom working for Section 31?
Yep, she designed it.
Okay. Yeah, never mind that.
If anything, it's a spaceship because it can travel through wormholes anywhere in space and time. So while yes, a spacesuit, it's more a spaceship.
Yeah.
And has unlimited data storage.
It's the Star Trek TARDIS. That's what it is.
It's also
probably bigger on the inside too.
Also powered by supernovas, which it can suck dry of energy. Also shields that can survive anything. And it also is it also can phase off your body, it can disappear and then reassemble.
Sean Corpier, $5. I like the disco thruster suit, but in a different era. Yeah, that's my assessment as well. So,
25% different, and it would look better as a
25% different.
Yeah.
All right.
Your number 7.
My number 7 is the 2260 spacesuit from the Kelvin timeline. These are really cool. I really did enjoy seeing these.
Clarify when it was seen, because some people might not remember where these were.
This was in Into Darkness, where they got to get from the Vengeance to the Enterprise through the debris field. And him and Kant. Oh yeah. Anyway, yes. Sorry. Get through a docking port, which is a meter wide for some reason that nothing would fit in. and there's no reason you'd have a docking port like that in a huge cargo bay like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. They're going from the Enterprise to the Vengeance, you're right, through a debris field, and it's him and Khan. So these are cool. Yes, people are going to say, but Stuart, you said the other ones look too skinny or too form-fitting. This isn't. This has a nice consistent bulk throughout the whole thing, and you can tell it's not skin tight. There could definitely be like heating elements or like whatever sewn in there that would keep them warm in space. Oh, sorry, I cut out there, I guess. Am I back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. It also has the maneuverability, the mobility that you'd want from a spacesuit, and because that's what I talked about with the thruster suit just a minute ago. Yeah, I get the skin tight idea because you need to be able to move your arms and legs. That's fine, but this also accomplishes that and still looks like a spacesuit. I really like the design of these. Again, they're fantastic. I don't know if they're really Star Trek-y enough. Again, let's put a delta. Well, there is a delta on it, I guess. It's really hard to see in the middle of the chest there. But
I wouldn't even necessarily. I don't even think they are, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's the Kelvin verse, so we got to take it away from the TOS prime timeline. So in that case, I think it's fine. It's got the same silver color as the TOS ones we see in the actual prime timeline. It has the holographic display in the visor, which again is cool and something that definitely would be included in any spacesuit moving forward in the future. So I have no issues with that kind of stuff because it's the Kelvin timeline, and I like this design. It looks really good. So that's where I stand with this one.
And there was a suit there was a jumping suit in the first movie. I didn't include that because I didn't find a picture that was good enough, and also I didn't think it'd be on our list because I was trying to go Prime first. But I thought this was an interesting like sidestep. See what would happen.
We should have included Kirk's orbital skydiving uniform.
Oh, from Generation.
The cut footage. Yeah. Hey, it's a spacesuit.
Oh god. Yeah, this one is odd because it's 0% Star Trek. I mean,
yeah.
Even Chris Pine in it doesn't make it Star Trek. He's in lots of other films, you know, like it's not even a 1%. But what it is to me in the film, it's not they're all spacesuits. That was the point of the intro, but it's not a spacesuit as this is not an EVA suit you walk around the ship in. This is the lightest, weightest, most aerodynamic suit with a thruster pack used for, maneuvers to. Presumably to train in 0G, for other things. That's great. And so as long as I think that side, it's a really cool, simple, efficient design. And the scene is visually very nice in the film. Doesn't scream spacesuit to me so much as just one-piece jumpsuit with a thruster on. And we see, the face thing gets cracked. It's not particularly,
durable.
Yeah. But it's fine, and I appreciate what we said earlier. It is and isn't skin tight. You can tell it's formed for a man of his size, but he's got ample excess room for all the function that is implied underneath the suit. And there's that real. I mean, it's a picture. Okay, fine, it's an artist rendition. But yeah, that subtle difference of it's not leggings, jeggings. It's just trousers. Yeah, I buy that. Sure.
Cool. Aussie $5.
Aussie present.
2. This looks like Voyager and First Contact movie. Federation President skeleton hands.
Somewhat, yeah.
Paul Graham, real space engineer in the chat here. $5. Remember, guys, I build these things for real. Kepler Shipyards. .space/division/suit HTML. We could use someone for some good renders. Yeah, he actually does this kind of. Well, he's working on that kind of stuff. So. Very cool. Very cool. He said in our group chat earlier, I prefer my own version. So, but that doesn't count. That's not Starfleet.
And I wonder which one you'll like out of these. If you agree with any of our complete ill-informed reasons why we like or dislike these things as professional or non-professionals.
Let me know next time he comes over for a beer. So.
Yeah. Oh dear. Cool.
I guess we're on your number 7.
My number 7 is the Mako outfit from 2153. Now this one I didn't even realize existed until I found a happenstance picture, and I am quite pleased with it. I like the vibe in general. It feels very, very much like a Russian undersuit spacesuit, color-wise, but it fits extremely well with Mako's art design to a T, as if it was designed that way. Oh wait, it was. so it fits in beautifully well. I can see how, you know, the main spacesuits have that real, as in the main NX, are big, bulky, armored, designed to be longer working. This is actually the, not an undersuit, but it's designed for tactical, and it feels like you've got that movement. And this is a female officer. It doesn't feel skin tight, but it does feel fitted, well balanced. I like the helmet with a big field of vision. It's, you know, it is more efficient than the Enterprise and XO1 for movement, but it's obviously a lot less suited for longer missions, for, you know, the things that you want to explore with. This is a short-term assault-based piece, and I actually appreciate its design. It's very similar to now. I mean, this is, you could build this now, no issue. And so I quite like the vibe. You know, it's I like it. It's a fun, simple. I think it works for what it is. It's like tick, Mako spacesuit. Yeah, there you go, nail on the head.
It's funny you said Russian, because it does feel very cosmonaut-y. It actually feels like a 1960s, to be honest. It almost seems like just a reuse of something. It just does not feel designed for anything in Star Trek. I hate to say that because I know you like it, but
well, it's even in color, it's designed for Makos, which are pre-Starfleet, and they're not. Well, it's pre-Federation, and they're not Starfleet, which is why it's so odd.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But the gray color, I don't know. It just seems very. I just don't like this one. It just doesn't feel like Star Trek to me. Even the gun, I hate the Mako guns too. It's just it looks like it could be something. Like, you show this to 100 people, how many are going to say that's from Star Trek? Probably 25%. Would be my guess, because I didn't even know this one existed until you showed it to me today, and I'm not impressed with it personally.
But unlike the Discovery eras, this actually takes place 100 years in the past. So it's only like 50 years from now, or 70 years from now. Actually, 50 years from now. Jesus, because it's relative, isn't it? For what it's trying to be, it's a nail on the head. And, you know, obviously the paint scheme of the uniform it's just the gun colors, the black and the. I mean, you can see it on her leg. It's the same two colors of the gun, so it's exactly what it should be. And I like that. You know, it is what it's meant to be.
And I want to point out too, this is the time to say that one thing I don't like about movie era spacesuits is the interior lights in the helmet. That's just so you can see the actor's face. You know how annoying that would be to have glass and lights inside? You wouldn't see shit outside. So that always bugs me to no end, and I always point that out in every movie I watch. I get the idea for it, I really do, but no. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
I feel like you've just mic dropped, and at the same time shot a spacesuit in the leg, saying, "Why you do? Guys, tell us now. Do you like this one for what it is? You know, because at least this one I think has more character than the one I said had no character. Because it's just different, but it fits where it fits. You know, neither feels Star Trek, but at least this one feels specific. Like, this isn't 2001. You know. Although it would be interesting to see what a Mako TNG one would be, assuming they still existed. How would you tactilize the First Contact one, say? Because if it's, you know, still existed. What do you guys think?
Devo77X says those are reused from a sci-fi movie called The Core.
Oh, I like The Core.
Which I did not know. But yeah, it felt like something that I had seen before. That's why I thought cosmonaut, like Russian.
Yeah.
Because it feels... I don't know. Sorry, I just cannot agree with you on this one. But that's me. And we don't always agree. So don't get us wrong, guys. We don't always, agree with each other. Shannon says he is right. It is a reuse from The Core.
It is. Lucky them. I mean, it's painted slightly. I mean, they've modified it slightly. As slight as you can get. That's fun, though. I mean, lucky for them, the paint scheme matched the gun exactly. Lucky them. Yeah. Cool. That's probably why it's got a lot of detail, but it was only in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, it definitely said cosmonaut to me or something. So when I first saw it.
Or 2007 underground digging. Either one. Nice.
Yeah, was Spock's volcano suit wasn't on here. It should have been on here.
It's not a spacesuit, it's a hazard suit. I did think, but it's not a spacesuit.
Wow. Well,
I was close, but it's not a spacesuit. I mean, it probably could be in
yeah,
space, but it's not. We didn't see
yeah.
it, and that's not what it's designed for. So
Okay, that's fair.
close. Close.
It's not realistic enough. No bright colors. That's funny. It looks so 1960s. It does look 1960s to me as well. Um, lights on the inside of the helmet equals can't see outside. I know. I know. Anyway, okay, good. I'm not alone in that because, yeah. All right. Sorry. Moving on.
Mhm.
I'm going to my number 6.
Mm.
My number 6 is the 2285 thruster suit that Spock uses in the motion picture.
Mhm.
It's just cool. I mean, it's red because it's a thruster suit, I guess, that differentiates it from the regular one that Kirk wears. And I do like the.
Although also Chekhov wears the bright red, as does the captain.
Well, he
So
does. You're right.
they are just
Yeah, yeah.
red.
Probably division. Division then. Maybe they're division colors. Like maybe Command wears white, or just white is the standard. I don't know. Anyway.
Because it isn't actually a thrust suit. It's a suit. This happens to be a thrust suit variant, which is great. It's not it just attaches the back, so it's just a spacesuit.
It actually, and he does eject it. But
Yeah.
no, this one's cool because again, it's a product of its time. It's a product of the 70s for sure. Art design wise, like this is something you would see in 2001 because the movie was made, around then. So, but it works. And as a progression from TOS, you can't really see any similarities there, but it does feel again bulky enough. You got the ribbing alone. See, that's one of the things that if the Discovery suits, the skin sites things had a little bit of ribbing on them, you could imagine, coils going through there to keep the warmth or whatever. So this one at least has that. It's not quite as bulky as it could be, I guess, and it's also not skin tight. It's that nice in between where it feels realistic. The hard upper chest piece is probably one of the first times we saw a spacesuit with that in cinema, and then ever since then, everybody has used that as like a over the shoulder. So that's innovative and very cool. And the thruster thing with the handles, I think that's wicked neat. And the fact that the way it just detaches as well. So this one's really cool. I really I remember seeing this. This really stood out to me when I was younger and watched the motion pictures. So I really like this one. So
Yeah, it's actually got character to it, which is why it knocked points off the other one. It's definitely bulkier than it needs to be, but that's not because the suit's bulky. It's because like two pieces are bulky, just like over simplified shapes, I guess. You could easily sleek it down. What, 15%? Those that the chest piece and the helmet, 15%, and it would be like okay. But I mean, producing things at the time was difficult, and I'm sure making it this level of bulk saved them thousands of dollars of money in production time and just production time. Because we know, and that might sound silly, but we know the Enterprise C was built the way it was because it was less production time and easier to make, and less money. Yeah. So it's not silly.
It's easier shapes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see that, and then if I'm going back and opening Wrath of Khan, and Chekhov's in white and the captain's in red, so, and the white looks damn good. The undershirt is white and the outer is
They're a little different though, because the ones in Wrath of Khan have the handle on the front, which you would assume is for if something happens you can grab the guy out in space, right? So he doesn't float away, but it's also convenient for lifting somebody up and intimidating them. Yes.
No, I do like these for sure. They're like I say, characterful, and I think they look better in sort of 2 than they do in the motion picture, but that's not necessarily tricky because Spock, Nimoy is just sitting on a chair holding things. It's not as if he's, he happens to be in a spacesuit. It's not, you're meant to look through the spacesuit at him, whereas the other ones, they feel more interactive because they're walking, they're talking, they're moving, they're using, etc.
Yeah.
But maybe talk about it later. Who knows?
I'm sure we will.
But Stuart, give us some like and super chat targets. I feel like we have to make some like targets.
We have 101 viewers right now, which is great, and we have 76 likes, which is also great. However, we can hit 100. So if you haven't hit that like button, hit it, or be nice to it. Tap it, touch it, breathe on it, caress it, stroke it, Kiss it. Do whatever you have to do.
Pop
Just hit
it.
that like.
Twist it.
Pop it. Twist it. Oh, good God. Anyway, I saw your mind turning, and I was doing that. I was waiting for something.
You went for the sex joke. I went for the bop it joke. Whatever it's called. Not quite the same thing.
Also, super chat wise, we could definitely do another 100. Would be great. But this it's probably going to be a shorter-ish one because we're coming down to like the middle of the road here right now, and then we'll be going into the upper echelons of what we like. So if you want to super chat anything, please feel free. We will not hate you for doing so.
At least another 40. We're already got 4 more likes.
Yeah, 40 would be a fantastic. I was just trying to.
Oh yeah. That's the end goal. But throwing some 5s would be cool. But yeah, I mean, some likes, 84 likes. Let's get to 90 right now. If you can do. Okay, so this is your number 6. Okay.
6.
What's my number 6? My number 6 is the Discovery jet suit, I guess. So quite a bit higher on yours. Thrust suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one actually got 6 on mine, so it beat the Mako and it beat the Lower Decks. Because, design-wise, like I said, it's a good design.
Yes, it is.
And it's so close to being fitting somewhere in the timeline with how bulky the thruster suit vibe is to Spock's. It's trying, but being pushed in that weird Discovery direction that just like makes it go, but why? You had such a good thing, and you kind of ruined it for what it should be. But it's but isn't it weird? It's only one scene, then it has never been used again. I know they were big. I remember at the time they were big promoting this in poster art, in all the every time I was on touring, it's like, here's the spacesuit, using 1.5 minutes of who cares. It's like, okay, she flies through. The CG Burnham flies through a CG asteroid field. Good for her.
It was one of the first visuals we got of the show, and it was really impressive, honestly. But
out of context, yes.
Yes.
But it's a better balance than a lot of stuff, and obviously you wonder where in the production line this was designed. If it was designed during Brian Fuller, or after Brian Fuller. Well, that's unlikely, although he did, after his main design interactions, or did he want to go more classic with it? Did he, where in his line, was it his TOS communicator style where he's like, oh yeah, make it look close enough, or his Klingons, don't make it look Klingon at all. Those were instructions he gave. It shouldn't look Klingon. Yeah. So where was it on his line? But yeah, certainly, like you said, now I can talk about more freely, the legs do now stand out to me as being leggings. If that was bulkier...
No, sorry, go ahead.
Or if that was bulkier, I do remember, now I'm looking at it, because I was going to say the shoulder pads feel too much like American football, like over bulky, but I do think they raise up and then they go up and the thrusters come out, so it is actually a functional thing. This is just in a standby phase. Yep. So I can't give points away for that, although they do feel too bulky in this format, but they're not often in this format. I do quite like the boots, but yeah, it's close. Wouldn't take much to make it a lot better, as in a Star Trek vein. Good design. Yeah, it's close, but it has got character. Good for them. That's got character.
Yes, and I said that as well. I said I really like the design. Matt Boardman says premature blowing of the production budget load on this suit. Yeah,
certainly, and that entire sequence,
There we go. I'm back. Scamp Fry throws in Great 2 name. Pounds. Discovery, it stinks. Looks like a Power Ranger suit.
I've seen Power Rangers. I don't think it does. I mean, maybe with an additional armor bit, maybe the under bit it does, but.
And really exaggerated movements. Look, they're over there. Power Rangers for the win.
Go, number 5. Wow.
He is the green one. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I never watched Power Rangers.
So, middle of the road, Stuart. What is your middle of the road? You're neither favourite nor least favourite.
2268 TOS. In practical look, like when you see it on the show, not so much. You see this picture, you get what they were going for, maybe. This looks kind of cool. I do like the addition of the the hoses everywhere. One thing I don't like is the communicator. Like you push the button on here to communicate. A little bit, but this is just a classic spacesuit. Definitely Star Trek. You never see anything like this in anything else. This was designed specifically for Star Trek. It's not like it could bleed over into another franchise or another space epic. I hate the fact that the helmet is so, it's here. It's boxy. You have no peripheral vision. You got to turn your whole body to look around. A little bit of an issue, but it's still classic Star Trek. I like it. I think it's got some potential. If they had redone this design for Discovery in a modern way, I think it would be something really fantastic. The silver the silver like tinfoil like fabric is a bit much, but it's got a good enough bulk to it that it does feel like a spacesuit. And also the phaser attachment on the outside is just like kind of janky. But anyway, this just holds a special place because it's TOS, and like I said, it's very unique. So yeah.
And breaking news.
Breaking
news. Star Trek, the motion picture, the director's edition is now being officially announced to be worked on for 4K remaster.
Oh, I thought it was something going to be Strange New Worlds related, you bastard.
Nope. So TOS is now the motion picture is now officially coming in 4K.
Nice.
With the original, with restoration will be undertaken by producer David C. Feen. Supervisor for restoration will be Mike Maticino, and the visual effects supervisor will be Darren Doctorman once again, and Mojo will be working on it, and it will be in 4K, Dolby Digital, Dolby Vision High Dynamic Range, and it will expect to take 6 to 8 months. And be exclusive on a Paramount Plus. That's the director's cut with all the changes and additional visual effects, which obviously have to obviously be thought through and redone and re-rendered from standard def to 4K. But wow, there you go. So that's the first Star Trek in 4K that's Prime, which is obviously now they're testing, because they're testing the first one to see if it's worth it, and then they'll make more. Because they'll be direct viewing numbers, won't they, for Paramount Plus, and then sales on other stuff. Although, you know, they've got to rebuy assets. They've got to repay your production team to make the assets, whereas the Wrath of Khan, it's all miniatures. There you go, guys. Breaking news. Finally.
And after we just talked about the motion picture thruster suits.
Wow, fantastic. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Doesn't tick any of my boxes.
Well, you get to see Shatner in 4K for the first time.
If I had a 4K TV, that'd be great.
Okay. Fair enough.
Eventually I will. Eventually I will. I got a 4K monitor in front of me here, so I could watch it on my computer, I guess. But
well, yeah. I mean, but no. Actually, though, first time we're going to get to see the Enterprise in 4K. Any Enterprise. That miniature in 4K. That's nice. Mm-hmm. That's a first. Mm-hmm. And that's the best the model ever looked. Humans not even see in 4K. Maybe for Vulcans, I can see in 4K, Ed. I mean, I can see the difference between 1080p and 4K very easily, Ed. So...
This is 4K.
Yeah.
This is not.
Well...
Whoa! That's really shitty resolution.
Matthew Frias says, Wrath of Khan's already in 4K. Maybe I've seen AI upscaled Wrath of Khans, and there's a director's cut. Like, it was scanned in 4K, but it's not been released in 4K. You can't buy it in Blu-ray, and as far as I'm aware, it's not on Paramount Plus. You can get an upscaled version, but that's not an official one. So, because I feel like if there'd actually been a 4K Wrath of Khan, that would be big news, and they'd have released a Blu-ray of it, because that's the most famous Star Trek movie. You know, just saying.
So anyway, what do you think of my TOS being
I was expecting number 1. Well, you're a nostalgic man.
I know, but I don't let this nostalgia cloud other things necessarily.
Yeah. No, I mean this one has a lot of character. It looks, I think, reasonably good on the show. Like, it stands out. It's very out of the box for the rest of the art design. which in itself makes sense. It's a spacesuit. It's a totally different function to the other suits. So I like that. I do. I
It's
mean,
got all the primary colors on it with the red, blue, and yellow, which is great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although, where's the yellow?
If you watch the show, there is, I believe, some yellow.
Mm.
And one thing I don't like is the big nameplates either. McCoy, Kirk, like right underneath the.
I don't see I
But
remember that
anyway,
stuff.
it is what it is.
On the fact that there's like an armature on one side of the helmet,
Yeah.
that would be two. Just. But I mean, it's like I say, it has character. I mean, the beehive helmet, the beekeeper helmet, is very odd. I mean, it is obviously better than the other version, which is actually the full red with the like, great. But you mentioned earlier the idea of having those hot and cold heating elements. Like, you know exactly what they're going for in this. And I like that. No, it's I think it's interesting, and it's forward thinking. You know, it's actually forward thinking in a simple way.
And it's very distinctly Star Trek as well. Well, as far as Star Trek spacesuits go, saying nobody else has used a design like this at all ever. Matt Boardman, $5. I would love to see an updated take on the TOS suit. As would I, my friend. As would I. And Scampify throws in £2 and says, rather see Voyager Season 4 onwards in 4K. 709. Ooh, yeah. What's up?
Well, Matthew DeFrias says there is a Rathacon that's available. It's available to buy on Amazon, it says in UHD, but no physical media. If you can provide a link to a disc, I'd love to get a disc. But I mean, I've never seen it in 4K. Or it'd be interesting to see it in actual 4K as an upscale. It says you can get it in UHD on Amazon.com. I don't think you can get it in Amazon UK. But yeah, there's no disc available. Or send me a link.
But anyway, shopping later.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we got David Bessig, $5. LOL. Would you like more? Would you like me to send you the Bissigverse suit to add to the list? No, because the list is already made.
I mean, let's be honest though. If the chat wants to put in $50 right now, cumulative, that can be an honorable mention. I mean, if we can get
show it.
5 tens right now, and that's not from you, David. I just mean in general. Do you want to see David Bessig, the famous designer of the Bessigverse? A whole separate sub-universe. You got Discovery, you got Kelvin, you got Prime, you got Bessigverse, with another ship coming very soon, with lots of animations. Boy, that thing, Stuart, you'll be like, whoa, you know.
And sorry, I missed Sean's super chat of $5. They should make a suit fold out of the badge in Disco Season 4.
I think we have made that
sure they will.
before.
I'm sure they will. Or they'll use the life support belt technology. They just hit the thing, and it'll just create a yellow force field around the entire body.
Yeah, but I like the suit. I've always, and in fact, I've seen. If you remember, Vic Mignogna wore this at a convention at Vegas, and he looked really good in it. Very memorable. Which I never thought I'd see one in person, like a proper one. Like, it's a good suit.
And yes, SC Scout Guy did know that this was reused later in Mork and Mindy and the Happy Days.
Was it really?
Those I don't consider like
canon.
Yeah, so
didn't know that. That's great.
I knew Mork and Mindy. I didn't know about the Happy Days though. So
I think we've seen. Oh no, that was the other suit. That was the other suit we've seen part of. Yeah, cool stuff. And yes, like I said, $50, and we can. And we can see the Bessigverse suit. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Yes.
And Shannon's right. The gray piece where the blue, red, and blue tubes connect, that was definitely referenced in the Discovery suit design chest plate. Yeah, for the standard suit that they have. It's got the same kind of look. Ish. With the buttons.
Nice. Cool. My My number 5 then. My middle of the road is... You ready? You ready? You ready? You ready?
Always.
It's the 2 Discoveries back to back. My middle of the road is the main spacesuit from Discovery. Because it actually works as a spacesuit. You know, it feels more functional than the thruster pack. It looks to me better than the Mako suit. And all the previous ones were all eh. This one at least feels like a practical spacesuit. Certainly, you could see this being in a modern, well, slightly more advanced modern NASA thing. With very like top of the line futuristic, like cutting edge polymers is what I mean. But they look good in it. They suit it. Having the lights on the shoulders is a nice touch. When we saw it in season 3 on the Sea Trip, they look good. Middle of the road. It has a certain character, but the character is just sort of efficient, sleek. It's sleek. It would be lovely if that entire verse had more primary colors. But as you just said with the TOS one, actually no, yeah. Why don't they have some red tubing, some red and blue tubing? That would add some flair to it, wouldn't it? Like obviously real subtle. But
that's the Enterprise colors. That's not the Discovery colors, which are silver and copper and gold.
Well, some copper. Well, copper pipes look dumb. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, like adding a touch of copper or gold on here would be great, though.
Yeah, it's that's a problem with a non-objectionable suit, Yeah.
Yeah.
I
just have issues with the disappearing helmet and the tech involved in this one. It's just kind of...
Me too. But now, having seen this list, those bottom 5 are very much like... None of them are great, but they all have a certain charm or limited charm. But the top 4 all certainly are the top 4 for a reason. Yeah. Middle of the way is average. Middle of the way. What is the number? 4 then, Stuart. 1 away from bronze. It lost a medal.
My number 4 is the 2271 spacesuits, which is
one you
didn't like.
No.
But I do like the addition of the holster and the tie-ins to the helmet shape kind of being reminiscent of the TOS. I don't know. This feels like a very functional, practical spacesuit. It seems, I mean, if you're based in on our tech now, might be a little too bulky in certain spots, I guess. But it definitely feels like it would be something that I would want to wear into space personally, because it looks like it would keep me protected and warm. So, again, it doesn't really say Star Trek. Again, put a delta on it, do something, even a touch of color or whatever would be fine. But, they're not out there as flying billboards, I guess, saying, hey, look at we're Starfleet. They're just out there to do what they need to do. So, and also the belt, or not the belt, but the bottom of the chest plate. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, those things might be thrusters, the circles, like little jets of air that you can let out to move yourself around. So you got some maneuverability as far as that goes, which I think is great. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I say, it's just dull,
Mm-hmm.
and it just looks like 2001 to me. But
yeah, it does.
Boxy, I guess.
After you said that, yeah. But that's where it was on my list. I couldn't change it. That's where I had it. That's what my gut said. I trust my gut.
Perfect.
So, I guess we're on to your number 4 now.
Nice. My number 4 is TOS. A little bit higher than yours.
Oof.
Because it is distinct. It is clear. It is unique. It is functional. It is both. Although you say, I was going to say it doesn't feel like you go outside with it, but in Star Trek Continues, they do go outside with it. It doesn't feel like a heavy duty suit, but in the context of doing EVAs out of the ship, in that context, I think it's perfectly serviceable. I mean, when you look at older NASA space, look at Apollo 13. The hull is made of the thinnest metal. One blip and they're dead. So it's not necessarily absurd to have just a skin tight, a razor thin fabric suit to be the only thing. but it feels like it would be a simple EVA suit. I feel like TOS would need to have something slightly more armored for a slightly more large assignment. More full on assignment. But certainly as it's used, BB inside the ship, perfect. It's a known atmosphere. It can be in space, great. I wonder how long its air supply is. It doesn't feel like it has a big supply.
Well, it depends how long the batteries last. Because, if you're listening to air supply in your MP3 player, you only have as much, as many albums as they made and as much time as your batteries would permit. So the air supply is variable depending on your power source.
And it depends if you have a USB power pack, you can just plug in and just hold in one hand. Yeah. Phaser in one hand, power pack in the other.
You can USB it, plug into the ship, use that as a tether while you're out there. If you need to pull yourself back, you got the USB cord. It's fine.
Excellent. No, this one. I mean, I would love to have seen this, and we made it in Strange New Worlds. This, I think, weird as it sounds, this would be phenomenal as a visual update suit. You could take this and just sleek it out, and keep the idea of these big pipes integrated into the suit more. The helmet with a bit more functionality. This would be very stylistically interesting suit to then modernize slightly.
Yes. I would love to see this modernized.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this I think would work really well.
Snoopy McQueen, though, throws in $5 with a keep it up, working out little pair guy. Keeping it up, yeah. Take the captain's little mini warp core and plug it in for more power. Yeah. All right. So now I guess we're into our top 3. So gold, silver, and bronze, if you will. So we're moving into the bronze. The second loser. Because silver's the first loser and then gold's the winner, right? So yeah, I'm ready to do my number 3 whenever we're ready to move on. We good? All right, cool. My number 3 is the NX-01 era spacesuit. These are really cool. When I first saw these, I was really super impressed with them. I do love the color. The copper is great. It ties in with like a lot of the metallic materials you see with like the Apollo program and stuff, the gold and stuff. So I do like the color. I also like the mounted spotlights on the head, and just the whole chest piece is very minimalist. And the helmet's great too. And the helmet you don't click a button, it doesn't disappear, fold into nothingness. It's actually a goddamn helmet, as it should be. You've got the straps and it's very, very functional and very realistic as far as moving forward from what we have today. So I think they did a really good job making something that would be a practical thing that we would actually have in the future. And you got the big Enterprise logo there as well, and you can tell that it's belongs from the Enterprise. So there's a lot going on here that I really like. These always really impressed me. I do have the little in the other room. I have the Trip action figure, or not action figure, but the Trip Hallmark ornament with him in the suit, and I really love the suit. To look at it in 3D, hold it. It's really great. So.
Yeah, this one's I haven't said it yet, so it's obviously also my top 3, which is okay. This one's a mixed bag for me because it's NASA but red, sleek in the basic body, but yet feels super bulky in the head and the chest. It's kind of all of the different things put together.
Mm-hmm.
But we've already talked about the other motion picture one. Like now I'm looking at it, it's like okay, you see a direct chest piece helmet lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's very, very early in comparison.
Yeah. And you have to go through stumble through the TOS years first. Like that just didn't work. We're just gonna remember that one we had 100 years ago.
Yeah. Although it's kind of funny, bronzy uniform for bronzy medal.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right.
Bronze for bronzy. Now let's see if it's my number 3. It's my number 3. Okay, good.
Sweet. Nice. All right, we're matching up here.
Hey. But it's funny because I don't particularly love the design. but it's better than the other ones on the list. That's the irony. Like, it's obviously better than Discovery ones, but those have more character than the other ones I said. So it's,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? As someone else said in the earlier in the chat, apart from a couple, they're all pretty bland, or like not exciting me. This one is certainly a really. I mean, this one was obviously the last one designed to be Prime with a budget. The last one.
Yeah.
So it feels exactly that. It feels like it fits in the era it's meant to be. It feels linking to the Star Trek it's meant to be. I don't think it looks the most visually nice. Something about the bright copper doesn't quite connect with me. I'm not sure why. I mean, I prefer it to being silver.
It was an odd choice to do the copper. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
We should probably ask somebody like Doug Drexler. He might know. But
I also think maybe the way it's shown in the episode as being this very like sluggish piece, like it feels so much older and so much less reliable, or like less advanced. You know, but it's yeah, like I said, the only one to have the lights in it, which makes it one of the most functional ones.
and not in. Well, they do have them inside as well, but you know what I mean. Yeah. You want to see what you're looking at, so it's a good place to have spotlights. Just saying.
I know it's a weird one. It's yeah, it's bronze because it's better than the other ones, but it doesn't excite me still, which is sad. I'm at number 3. And I'm not excited by it. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. We got 100 likes. We got 101 likes. Sweet. We could probably do 120 though. Or 102 likes. We only need 18 more. So if you haven't hit that like button, hit it, guys. Honestly, another $50 in super chats would be great. We just got Matt Boardman through in $5. From what I remember, Doug's original concept of the NX-01 had a more copper bronze finish to it, so maybe that's where the color scheme comes from. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yes, Doug had odd ideas for a lot of NX things, as we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not saying that's a bad thing. All right, so I guess we're on to our number 2 now. Oof. Are you ready?
Yeah.
My number 2 is 2373, which is First Contact. These are great. I love so much about these. Okay, actually, the pads on, or the control things on the arm and the leg are more reminiscent of what we should see on Discovery uniforms or Discovery spacesuits because of the colors, the primary colors, more TOS-ish. But they look really good, really smart on this. I always thought the red vest was very, it reminded me of like Picard's jacket that he wears. It just has that kind of, hey, look at me, I'm special. But the fact that they have the red really makes things pop, even on the boots. Again, it feels practical. It feels like it's something that could definitely exist. It's not skin tight. It's not form fitting. It definitely feels like a spacesuit. The helmet has some good visibility and is a very unique design. So there you go. And we've seen them in action quite a bit compared to a lot of the other spacesuits. So there you go. That's all I have to say about that. I don't have much.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, until you say something else and I have to speak up.
Okay, I'll be honest. I don't even know what you're gonna say for number 1. I've forgotten what's left, so we'll see. Which is a bit embarrassing. Yeah, I mean it's fantastic, isn't it? You know, it was a nail in the head level of cool. It feels. Maybe it's because of the first one that feels designed. Because take Discovery out because that's a sidestep. Because in the Voyager First Contact era, they can think about aesthetics as well because there's so many generations in to these items that they're not, they're well beyond this tech. It's now a lot of design elements involved. Why is there a secondary hole in the top? Because design. You know what I mean? There's a lot of.
You can look up and you can see what's above you.
Yeah. Sure.
I like that.
But then why not have it all be one piece and just a big open bulbous like whatever's, you know?
Because it's more structurally,
Oh,
structural integrity is better with this.
but
Also,
if
that's what the hollow emitters are for your display, maybe.
but it
Who
feels
knows?
designed. It feels also aesthetic. You know, it feels
It
part of the.
does.
So it's a very well constructed, and yet actually now looking at it, it also feels very Rathacani. The color
Yeah.
scheme, the under thing, maybe it's got some elements reused from that because it's got the ribbing, but it also has
Mhm.
that all the advanced elements that help bring it up, and it's got character. Mm.
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 Mm. I agree. Sergeant Montgomery, $5. Self-sealing spacesuit makes the most sense. Has Star Trek ever
Mm.
utilized this in any format? The life support belt, because it's a force field. No, I don't know. We have self-sealing stem bolts in Trek. I know that, but I don't know about self-sealing spacesuits. I mean, it would make sense. We saw one of these get punctured, and had to tie it off with a Borg arm, but that's okay. It worked. You know, improvise, adapt, overcome. You know, all that jazz. So, yeah. Doesn't Malcolm sort of self-seal an Enterprise in Minefield, or am I remembering wrong? He does get stabbed through the leg, and I think you're right. I think there is some kind of. Hmm. I'd have to go back and watch that. I'm not sure. You could be right though. It sounds like you're right. uh,
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and think what's number one. So I'm just going to jump to my number two. My number two is the Star Trek's 1 and 2 spacesuit. I do actually think I prefer the grey and white one more, actually. Having just briefly re-looked at the non 4K Rathacon that I have. It's my only real problem with it is that the helmet is bulbous to the bulbous for the sake of bulbous. It feels deliberately bulbous because sci-fi as opposed to functionally bulbous
no
because
man, that's an extra 2 minutes worth of air when you lose air because it's so big. It's got enough air in there to keep you alive a little bit longer.
I mean that's not the worst thing I've heard today.
And that's impressive coming from me because
That is
usually I
impressive
am.
coming from everyone here because you know
Yeah.
Trekyards audience.
Ooh,
Speaking of, 10 more likes, guys. 10 more likes, and $25 more. I want to hear. But no, for me, this one, you know, I appreciate it. I like it. I like the ribbing. I like the colors. It, it feels like, it feels to me more like a extremely advanced under jacket, under jumpsuit, which is capable of fighting all elements, where you don't need thickness. You just need however thick it is, with this advanced bulk on top of it, which has all your air and functional, and an overly bulbous helmet. But it doesn't feel that underwhelmingness. It just feels advanced in its own way. The undersuit.
well, the undersuit feels like it could be an environmental suit.
Mm-hmm.
With you don't need the advanced helmet and stuff added to it because
Mm-hmm.
you're not going out in space.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like for you know, volcano suit Spock kind of thing,
Mm.
doing something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's got a special place, but it's the only other suit, except Enterprise, that was given the budget and the close-ups and the attention. You're right, it does feel like the era, the physically the 80s, but it has a certain charm to it that it had, which again, compared to the original one that I said was my number 8, they aren't the most dissimilar, but with that as lacking character, this one is has all of the character.
who said it here? Where the hell is it?
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna
multi-species
say.
helmet. That's a
Yeah,
fun idea.
yeah. Or it's product of its time. This is the '70s after all. What if you had somebody with an afro? You got to fit that in there. Just saying.
That's good.
It's even the right shape. I mean, you wouldn't have helmet hair when you take it off. It's great. You're like, I hate you so much. Okay, what have we got super chat wise here? Sean Corpier puts in $20 to finish off that 50 for David Bessig's suit.
Boom.
He says, "Go ahead, Bessig," and David Bessig throws in $5. Okay, so I'll add 5 and get you to 25. So I think you can show my suit now. Ryan Universe. We'll send it on Facebook after you're done your list. We'll send it now, and we will do our number ones, and then we'll talk about. We'll show yours at the end there, I guess. So. As a super special honorable mention. All right, who's ready for number one? Who's ready for the gold standard in spacesuits?
I mean, there ain't much left, so...
I know what yours is.
I mean, David Bessig's clearly.
No.
But you now get a bonus 11th. You know?
It's true. Yeah. All right, so my number one, and since you don't remember, it's going to be funny as hell. My number one is the 2293.
Oh my god!
Your number
Oh
10.
my god! Why?
Because I love it. It's fantastically cool. This is so great. That's why when you said it's your number 10, I'm glad your mic's off. That's rude. He's rude. I'm going to cry now.
Go
No,
on.
I love
Tell
this
me.
thing. I think it's great. I love all the little details on it. I love the helmet. There's not a lot of bulkiness to it, so it's you can still maneuverable. You can still do things, but you got all the little attachments, the arm thing. You got the magnetic boots, and it's really cool looking. It does look like one of the engineering uniforms though, just with a helmet. And I think that's fine. I think those engineering uniforms are going to be pressurized. They are going to be able to be used outside of the ship to do repairs. That's why they're engineers. So I had no issue with it. It's probably not a long distance spacesuit. It's not going from ship to ship. This is merely a outside of the ship doing repairs or going to assassinate somebody suit. And I think it's fine for that. I really like the shapes in it. I just love the overall look of that. It feels like the Stig from Top Gear. It's all white, got the white helmet, black visor, and it's a good look. I just really like it. I just wish there was more, like I said, if it had a delta on the chest or something, it would be great. It does have one on the arm, but it's like a cool looking spacesuit. I think it's great, and it's from a really cool scene in a great movie, and I think they look good. You do, like you said, you saw them suiting up kind of thing, and you get some real close-ups of this one. So this is one that I really liked. But yeah, once I saw it like this, I'm like, oh yeah. But now that I'm looking at it, it's just the Stig from Top Gear, and it's like, oh shit.
And of course, Devereaux says the commander's number 10 is the captain's number 1, which has never happened before.
Never.
And you did a good job hiding that. Well done. Because I was like, what?
Well, you were talking, and I was looking at the camera like. I did one or two to the audience,
Okay.
so maybe they caught on. And I did message Matt Boardman, said this is my number one. And he's like laughing his ass off.
So who out of here guessed? Obviously, if you've been following the list, you may have guessed from what was left. I did not think it would be. But which of you guys thought it'd be as his top? Seriously, let us know. Yes or no?
Oh.
If it's just number 1.
And let us know if you thought yes, this was my number one. Yes or no.
Yeah.
We'll get to the super chats while you're doing that though. Matt Boardman, $5. Interesting that we never saw an EVA suit in TNG until they got to the movies. Actually, yeah, right. There is one in the technical manual, but it's that thing you sit in with the arms. It's basically a dot droid, but piloted by a human, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Sean Corpier, $5. I agree with the captain. Somebody's not getting fired. And Sean with another $5. I think they call it a hazard suit. The Stig is actually Tom Paris. That's good. I can see. That's good. I like that. And I didn't see the Stig comparison until now. I'm looking at it on my screen. It's like, oh shit. I just watched Top Gear last night. An older episode. And I'm like, oh.
And YJ says, nah, it's the SpaceX suit.
Yeah.
Also quite a cool design. Yeah. I am blown away. As were the Klingons that got shot by this guy.
Yeah.
My number one, to no one's surprise, because I think it's an easy win, is the First Contact one. I mean, not even a there's a distinct difference between the number two and number one. Number two is good because it's quirky and weird. Number one is actually the best design for me out of all of them. It looks the simplest in its own sleek, efficient. This is the everyday functional working suit with the color combination that makes it pop and not be bland. It's got the tech elements of the panels, so you can control stuff. It's got a custom gun. That's cool. The helmet looks comfortable and big and productive and whatever. It's the one I'd want to have. And yes, it's the longest running spacesuit. It was used in First Contact and then Voyager several times and then DS9. So it is the longest running.
Yeah. You could say it's probably, arguably, the Lower Decks one as well.
Well, no, the Lower Decks one has a ball. It has different shapes. I mean, variation of. But here's the Lower Decks one, and it's got different shoulder pads. Has got no arm piece. I mean, they're different enough.
Is this the exact same one that they used in Voyager?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When Tom Paris and Lana were outside.
Yep. Just reuse the same. Same suits, which makes sense. I mean, Voyager inherited a lot from First Contact, like all of the Borg stuff, which is why the Borg feel very expensive because they were the movie budget Borg stuff. Yeah.
Put a picture of my number one up for a second. I want to read Matt Boardman's super chat. Matt Boardman throws in $5.
Well, hold on. I will put number one, but instead I'm gonna put my number 10 on the list on the screen. That's my number 10.
Put your number 10 on the list. There you go, dickhead. Matt Boardman puts in $5. I'm going to read this like Jeremy Clarkson night. Some say he assassinates Klingons on his days off, and if he's caught, it's simply Pepto-Bismol on his suit. All we know is he's called the Stick. That's fucking great, Matt. I love that. You made my day, man. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I figured going into this that would be your number one. I had a feeling, but you've been known to surprise me from time to time. And the one that really threw me off was the Mako one, the Mako spacesuit, because I'm like, okay, I didn't remember that. I saw it, like I said, it didn't impress me, so that wasn't even on my list. But I thought you might put that somewhere because I thought you might like it. But yeah, definitely, I thought the First Contact would be your number one. So we should call it at the beginning what we think the number one of each other's would be. That's just for some fun.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, for some of these, there's just no competition.
Yeah.
Because most of these are limited to the budget, and this one has a movie budget. Like with the Star Trek 3 ones and the Star Trek 6 ones, they weren't designed to be a spacesuit. They are sabotage people designed to be a part of the crew. It's very clever, actually. It's both unique and yet different. It's clever. You're not meant to think much of it. Although I still to this day question if that guy with the webbed feet, it was actually his shoe or not. Because the way that scene's framed, as a kid, I was like, well, it was his. Like, the way they make the scene play, it feels like it is his shoe, even though it really isn't. For some reason, when I was a kid, I remember thinking, that's a weird. Yeah, okay, he was in the. Was he one of the guys? I don't know. I remember the first time watching it, I didn't get it was the two guys that died for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They seemed like throwaway people.
Samuel and Bert.
Never quite. Then
I didn't get that at first either because they don't explain it very well.
No.
But yeah, so I'm there with you on that.
Well, it's a second watch moment.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's all good. Like the shapeshift lady seeing her subtext. And then Spock with a patch. There's definitely, which is great. It's great.
I caught the Beridian patch right away. I'm like, what the hell is that on? Somebody did a bad job in the costume department. And then it's like, no, it's actually a thing. But I hate that it moves. Whatever. And the thing with Lieutenant Dax or whatever with the feet. What through my mind how the hell did he get his pants on? Unless the pants have zippers on the back of the legs, maybe. Because you couldn't push your feet through that. Anyway, whatever. Maybe they fold up, his feet fold in some way, like.
Yeah.
But I look at a lot of aliens with like big heads and stuff, and I'm like, how the hell did you get your shirt on? Like, that doesn't make any sense actually when you think about it. And you see it all the time in Orville and stuff. It's like, whatever.
So
Well, there we are.
Special guest star today, direct from another universe. We've had 2 universes today. We've had Prime and JJ, and Discovery. If you I have seen this one before. I don't know if you've seen it before, Stuart. We may or may not. We've got 2 angles. I'll put both on the screen at the same time just for more fun viewing. This is the David Bessig of the Bessigverse. If you search David Bessig or Bessigverse, he has multiple contents out on the channel. I have to change the frame back to something else. Let me just fix this. Hold on.
Bessigverse time. Dun, dun,
yeah, give me a second. It's all framed for the other stuff. Okay. And if David wants to put a brief description in the chat, just for bonus clarity, what is a Bessigverse, and if there's anything special about these suits, let us know, and Stuart will read it out. As is the power of the Stuart, Captain Foley. We know we all like Stuart's voice. Well,
I think he's just being sarcastic at this point, guys.
I mean, no. Although, first of all, wonderful art. I'm always jealous of his artist and art, because that's phenomenal. Like stylized art.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whereas the framing's not right yet because the premiere. That's got to do 2 halves of it, haven't I? Got to do.
Yeah, I'm just waiting because I'm also on delay here. So
there we go. Okay, but yeah, the artwork's phenomenal. I'm always jealous about the artist he has. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. So this is an X era.
Well, it's Bessigverse era.
Well, yeah, but
which is post from no more. So it's
yeah.
Next.
Very cool. Let us know what you guys think. That's what David says here. These are suits used on the Enterprise in 2190. It's based off the NX suit system. They would be considered standard issue for Starfleet in the year 2190. Okay. I like the helmets. I like the integration of the spotlights into the, like, not sticking on the sides like this, but into the. That's really cool. And I also love the color. Again, the color palette with the gray and the copper looks good. You've extended the gray quite a bit. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it feels to me like a combination of NX and Star Trek 1 and 2, taking that slightly more bulky feel, like a little bit.
And including the security officers, how they have the leather chest thing that goes down to the belt. Mm-hmm. It has that kind of shape to it, so it's that security look. I like that. Yeah,
it's just a sleeker, more refined NX. I mean, that's the problem with form follows function. It does feel that way. Although the helmets feel to me like maybe Lost in Space or one of the other franchises. I feel like I've seen that design before. Though, yeah, I like the simple headlamps in it.
Mm-hmm. I got this on such a small little window there.
And in fact, you could go on the YouTube itself, and
that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Well, I think the one on the right, actually, now looking at the neck piece, kind of feels like Gordon Freeman's suit from Half-Life, almost, with the colour.
Mm.
But I like the trim, and I like the fact there's clearly just artistic trim with the silver and then the around, which is, like I said with the previous TMP one, I didn't like that you need a bit more colour pinstriping. This achieves artistic detail without doing anything to the fundamental design, but it's just because it adds depth to it.
Mm. Mm-hmm. No, it's a very good take on things, and post NX era, so it's moved on since then. I like it. Props to you, my friend, and yes, you got a good artist.
Yes.
So
An SE Scout guy says, I'm surprised the NX Beta's orange EV suit did not make the list. You know, the very much Sputnik bright orange with a big bulbous.
Yeah.
I was just no, I wasn't going to make the list.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sorry. What do you guys think? Would this be
Ooh.
on your top 10?
And David also says it's also the reveal of the phaser rifle and phase pistol. Oh shit! Spoilers.
Heavy
Should have
spoilers.
sensor bars, black sensor bars over those. That'd be funny. Oh well, there you go. Getting the peek at the best verse, which we're going to be doing more filming of later. So, but anyway, guys, that was our spacesuits. What did you guys think? Is there any that you think we missed out on or anything? Let us know. Let's see another $20 would be great, honestly. And if we could, the last super chat slot is now taken up by Matt Boardman with the most epic super chat ever. And I really like that one because that's a great introduction for the Stig. That's good.
But yeah, let us know.
Fan, so.
Let us know your number one. And do you want to give us a final goal, Stuart, for likes and super chats in our last sort of 5 minutes?
Yeah, like I said, another $40 in super chats would be great. I said 20, I think, didn't I? 40 is the perfect number for us, but 20 I was being generous.
But this was fun. I mean, spacesuits. We've said this. We've said this, and this is the thing I've found in analysing this, and an instant tangent. You've often said that Trekyards is very much a. You're with two friends at the bar, and you're talking about the thing you love. Now, in that same vein, you very rarely, in detail, talk about such niche things, knowing it's about 10 pictures, only 10 pictures, for 2 hours. And so you do create really unique conversation pieces, and I've really enjoyed just what do I really think about this and why. Because we could do the top 10 in 2 minutes. And we're not padding so much as really thinking and having to think and really come to terms with a heart of hearts. And that's really... been fun here, even if we haven't got much to say. I have generally, thought more about them than I've ever thought before. So what do you guys think? What is your number one?
Yeah, and I was just going to jump in on that. Yeah. Funny enough, when I'm kind of sussing out what's going on with the list, I don't really think too much about them. I'm like, what just speaks to me, what I feel. So I put that, and then once we get into the conversation, then I'm like, okay, why do I like this? And I force myself to think on the spot about it. So a lot of times you can tell because I just don't have a lot to say. A lot of times I surprise myself with some of the things I say, and then things you say. It's a good back and forth, and I really do love Trekyards for that because we do look at the minutia, and because we're interacting with you guys, getting your ideas, and then just Samuel and myself talking a lot, we generate some really great conversations. And you're absolutely right. They're like very unique Star Trek conversations that probably nobody's ever had, except maybe an art department.
Oh yeah.
About, so.
Yeah, where's Doug when we need him? And it's fun because this is, we did about 30 of these as a 10-minute format, and they were great. But it is such an experience to actually have that live interaction, and we've definitely thrived on that. And so we're going to get you guys' thoughts, comments, questions, bouncing off points. Really fun. Really fun. Really enjoyable.
And Erevic Sonder throws in $2.
Hey,
my number one is also First Contact in the Voyager suit. It was going to be my number one until I saw this one. And I'm like, that looks fantastic. So.
Oh, dear. That's funny.
The Doctor throws in $5. Number 3 is TOS. Number 2 is the motion picture. And number 1 is First Contact.
I mean...
It's a very vanilla list, I would say, though. That's like a cursory glance at the franchise list.
Well, it's the things on this thumbnail, Stuart.
Exactly.
The 3 you think of, pretty much.
So the Doctor is now the last super chat slot. If anybody wants to scoop it, by all means, it is there. You can snipe it and use the assault phaser and the assassination uniform that I picked while you're sniping, because that'd be fun.
Or the EVA rifle. But and briefly, as we got like an extra, wait for 5 more likes. To what Anson Mount said today on Twitter that they're doing the last episode of Strange New Worlds, and obviously, I'm sure they're being told to, obviously, as with all these things, promote it in a certain way to keep getting hype about it being very original Star Trek fans are going to love it and be encouraged, and having now filmed pretty much everything, they have proper authority on that, which is fantastic. But I've never really considered. Yeah, I do actually want to see the TOS suit, updated and put in the show. I don't think they need to have the Discovery suit. I don't think that fits. It doesn't look as iconic. I mean, it's forgettable. This TOS one is not forgettable. Is interesting. And if I was I can design some things. I can cover some things. I wish I was a John Eves level artist. I could just sketch the updated version, because I know it could be done very easily conceptually, right? Same thing, just modernized. I really hope they do that in Strange New Worlds. I think that sort of thing would be fantastic.
Yeah. And we did see the update of the dedication plaque on the ship today, and we're very, very optimistic about that. It's the right color, it's the right look. Sure, it says class, Constitution class, and it should say class, Starship class, but that's just because that's fixing an error that was in the 60s, because they didn't know where they were going with that. So Starship class just doesn't fit, never has. Well, it did for like the first 3 years of TOS, I guess. But anyway, yeah.
But the fact that it still has Starship class in it means it's fully respected.
The fact they changed it from Discovery with the black and silver to this is very optimistic as far as art design goes. That what they're saying all along could be true.
I told you explicitly they're not just reusing that set. It was in storage for a year and a half. At the very least, it would need a full repaint and conceptually some fixing. It wasn't meant to be a full time. So they would, and the showrunner would say, "I don't want that bridge. I want my own spin." They always change things. So it's gonna be it's sad because that show easily can get all the fan love that fans have been waiting for. That could be the most successful show easily. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like without it's doing a proper refresh. My goodness, wouldn't take much. And if you imagine the money they'd get on CBS All Access as a yeah.
Chris Parnell puts in £2 in an attempt to get the last super chat slot, and then of course we have an assassin, Mr. Matt Boardman, in the house with a $2 super chat and an assassin snipe. So Chris, I don't know. I think I'd take that personally, considering the American just assassinated you with the same amount. Well, it's not because pound's worth more, but he's going after you. You even said assassin snipe. So I don't know, Chris. You might want to fight back. Just saying.
Have you seen Ender's Game, Stuart?
No, I have not.
I'll end my sentence there then.
I knew as soon as I said that, I'm like, I just ended that conversation.
Ender's Game has some good stuff in it, mostly not, but it has some good stuff in it. There's a EVA, there's a 0G fight in a big ball training ground. It's a very good action sequence. It's a good action sequence, lots of good stunts and choreography. I'm just picturing those who have seen it, a sniping war between two people with laser guns in that big arena with the rocks and shooting and fighting would be a very visually good thing. That's what I'm picturing. It's just like
that's usually my state of existence. Yes. It's a true story. So guys, any more last super chat slot idea or attempts? Go for it.
Yes, that's why I laughed.
Oh, well, I'm doing something else currently.
Okay.
On the computer, so.
But guys, tomorrow tune back in for Unification Part 1. And then in a rare twist of fate, we're going to do Unification Part 2 on Friday. Double bill, but approach them separately as we tend to do for two-parters because they are still independent episodes. And if the dumb doesn't work, well, that's on the episode. They are both different. And Ian says, "Oh, you fan of sliders?" I was at the time, but I was also young, so I barely remembered it. But I did enjoy it. I love the concept. The concept's phenomenal.
And Chris Parnell fires back with £2. Better luck next time.
That's why I love
that. And Matt said, with the gun still smoking.
Yes.
Dreamer out there.
Oh my God.
Somebody who's not even involved in the situation comes in with $2 and just takes everybody out.
I feel like he's the guy that's just, he's got off the bus at the bus stop. He walks up.
Well,
like just cut. Where did that guy come from? Why is he in this fight?
It's like Call of Duty. Okay, you play Call of Duty, you're killing people. You find one guy, you track him down, you're sniping him. He's trying to hit you. You're doing your thing, and just as you're ready to get him, some dipshit over here kills you. Just as you were going to get this guy you've been following for like the last minute and a half. And it's like, you weren't even involved with what the hell I was doing. Get out of here. I hate that. It pisses me off so much. It's like it was between me and him. And yes, I play Call of Duty quite a bit. So
It's got good gunplay. Brief question though, as we jump out, guys. Would you guys like to see top 10 stormtrooper armor?
yeah, that was kind of a joke going into this. And it turned into a, hey, that might work.
Because there are plenty. Oh my god, there's a video by on the LucasArts channels with all of them. I would probably disclude clone armor because they are not stormtroopers, and there's enough stormtrooper versions. Just because it'd be fun to just go stormtrooper only because there's so many. Would you guys watch top 10 stormtrooper armors? I would like to look and think about them and actually kind of, which is my favorite? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, do you have? Well, always the easy answer. Just the first one. I don't know. Is the original the best? I don't even know. You know?
I think it'd be fun to do a Stormtrooper one. Plus, it'll give us a Fleet Yards thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really do a lot of Fleet Yards lives, so might run a different crowd.
Just got to get
yeah.
graphics.
Mark Lawrence, $2 money. Here's some monies. Thank you. SC Scout guy, $2 to start your 4K TV fund, Stuart. Thank you so much. The problem is I can't buy a 4K with 3D capabilities. It's the only reason I haven't bought one, because my 65-inch is 3D and I like watching 3D movies. So if I buy a 4K to replace that one's got to go somewhere else. Ooh. The 3D one, because I'm going to keep it.
Shit.
And eventually I just want to get a projector for my 3D movies, but that's when the basement's going to be mine and I can have a whole wall for projector. So I'm kind of stuck at not buying a 4K TV right now, which is fine. But
well, I mean, the longer you wait, the cheaper they are, the better they are, the more discs there are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what those, the longer you wait for anything, the longer you wait for anything, it's like I didn't buy an Xbox One. By the time I didn't buy an Xbox One, the Xbox Series X came out. I just waited 8 years, and a much better console came out because it was much better for the time.
Sean throws in $5. Stormtroopers, yes.
And if you want to see it, we're definitely going to do it.
Yeah. Ozzy, $3. Bang. So Ozzy was the Federation president was attempting to do an assassination. Wow. David Bessick, though, $5. Thanks for showing my suits.
Hey, you're welcome.
No problem. There we go. I think that's good.
And Ian briefly asks, have you considered doing a rewatch of certain Trek episodes where we could follow along? Vaguely, but we couldn't monetize them properly, which sort of makes them redundant to do. And our faces on a screen by itself wouldn't be great. I mean, I could probably put like a time code, but that's not exciting. So I don't know.
A lot of channels that do that, we could both be on the screen and have it in a small box that have it very blurry, so you can see the movement, you can see what's going on with the colors and stuff, so you're kind of lined up. And no audio, obviously. It'd be in our ear.
Although where would I listen to it from? From my phone?
Well, this is something we would probably do over together.
Yes, well, that'd be much easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's something we might do when we meet up again, because that might be a fun live to do, actually.
Live
watch
commentary.
1 or 2 episodes like that. Yeah. It's worth thinking about. We have thought about it before. It's just.
Well, it's copyright content to the extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
We're very lucky we get away with what we do get away with, especially knowing other, review channels don't encourage. They cease and desist. They strike other people. We've never, once or twice, but considering how many hundreds we've done, we're clearly on the good list in the relative list of people that they like doing reviews, even though we're quite negative. But hey, or positive depending.
I wouldn't say we're quite negative.
It varies. I mean, did you see my live about the girl that fell from the stars and Ephraim and Dot and Children of Mars? I fucking shredded those shit. I annihilated those. My God, I was pissed. Anyway.
On that note, and on that rather disappointing Yeah, we'll do the Top Gear thing. And on that disappointing note, he is Commander Cockings.
And Sean says,
What does Sean say? Oh shit, I moved up. Oh, pew pew, $5. Thank you very much, Sean.
says pew pew.
And
Ha!
on that rather disappointing note,
Dreamer out there says,
oh, Jim out there throws in $2 with
I feel like this is
a
eBay.
wordless, a soundless assassination.
Well, he's in space, so he's actually screaming.
Oh, he's got
"Duh!"
the Gotcha. It's great.
He is Captain Foley.
I am, and he's Commander Cockings.
I am. See you tomorrow, guys.